Hello fellow artists! Have you ever wondered what animals might look like if they were humans? Well, look no further, because in this video I'm going to be taking animals and using my artistic abilities to turn them into humans. Let's get started. Now, character designs that have been based on animals have existed since, well, forever, but most of them tend to be very stylized, or some kind of anthropomorphic thing. But that's not what we're doing. I'm going to be making full-on realistic human character designs. That means no tails, no snouts, no wings, and no other anthropomorphic features. You might think that these rules will make it harder to design these characters, but you know what they say, constraints inspire creativity. Now, there are quite a lot of animals to choose from, so for this video, I'll limit my choices to just African animals. I think that's a good starting point, since some of the most well-known animals come from Africa. The first animal I will be turning into a human will be the elephant. Now, there are 6 types of elephants in total, with the 2 from Africa being the forest elephant and the savanna elephant. They're pretty much the same, but the savanna elephant is a little bit bigger, so I'll be using that to design a character. The savanna elephants, also known as the African bush elephants, are the largest mammals in the world, weighing up to 11 tons, and are found all throughout sub-Saharan Africa. Now, to get started with this character design, I really wanted to capture the absolute size and strength of the elephant. And what better way to do that than making this character really big and really buff. Since elephants are kind of like the largest land mammal on Earth, I kind of had to capture its size somehow. So I gave this character really exaggerated proportions, but still, you know, kinda realistic-ish, somewhat. But yeah, so they're really buff, really strong, and absolutely massive. So yeah, I think that kind of represents the absolute strength and size of the elephant well. Another very distinguishable feature of the elephant is its trunk, which is its absolutely massive nose that goes down to its ankles. Now, I obviously couldn't give this character a giant nose that goes down to his ankles. So instead, I chose to represent the elephant's trunk as this character's beard. Now you might be wondering how that works. Well, the nose, beard, generally in the same place, and well, kind of. They're both on the face. And I kind of just made this beard trunk shaped, you know, very long, got lots of sections in it and bumps. And yeah, I think it's a cool idea, you know, having this human character's beard represent the trunk of the elephant. And also, elephants are known to be quite wise creatures. That's kind of how they're represented. That's kind of how they're known. So I think a beard, you know, kind of represents wisdom a bit. So yeah, that kind of also fits in with the whole elephant theme. Another big thing I wanted to capture was the elephant's ears. These absolutely massive things, you know, that stick out the sides of its head. So I didn't want to give this character massive human ears. That would be a bit weird. But instead I just kind of wanted to capture the shape or the silhouette of the ears in this design. So I decided to represent the elephant's ears as this character's shoulder armor. So he's got these giant shoulder pads which are kind of in the same general shape of the ears, and alongside the beard, if you look at them all together, it kind of looks like the head of an elephant, kind of, you know, generally the same shape. So I think that was a pretty good idea. I think I pulled that off well. Obviously, elephants have giant old tusks that they use to defend themselves, so I really wanted to give this character a weapon or weapons that kind of represented those tusks. So I ended up giving this character 2 curved African swords, because, you know, they're curved, so they kind of got the same shape as an elephant's tusks, and also, you know, they're inspired by these African swords. So yeah, I think that kind of matches the whole African elephant theme. Obviously, with this character's clothing, I kind of wanted it to resemble somehow kind of African-inspired clothes. So I got a bunch of references for these African-like clothes and junk, and kind of made it similar. So I gave him like some big old baggy old pants and some cloths and bandages and stuff like this. I think it kind of looked cool. Not really too confident in the African clothing, but I think I pulled it off well. Obviously elephants have grey skin, or kind of a warmish grey tone for their skin. So I wanted this character to kind of have grey skin as well, but obviously still look like an African person with their dark skin color. So I gave them a very desaturated, dark, kind of grey skin color, so I think that kind of matches with the whole elephant grey thing. Also, most of his clothing is grey, kind of this warmish grey tone. I think I added some red in there somewhere as well, you know, just because why not? But yeah, here's how the final design turned out. And yeah, I am really happy with this design. I think I captured all the important parts of the elephant quite well, kind of turned them all into human aspects. And yeah, I think this one turned out pretty well. Let's move on to the next design. The next animal I will be turning into a human will be the cheetah. Now, there are 5 types of cheetahs: the Tanzanian cheetah, the Sundan cheetah, the South African cheetah, and the Northwest African cheetah. And the Asiatic cheetah. Oh my god, there's so many cheetahs. Both the African cheetahs look like the exact same, so I'll just choose the South African cheetah to turn into a human. Obviously, cheetahs are known for their speed. I'm pretty sure they're like the fastest land animal. So yeah, I really wanted to capture the speed of a cheetah in this design. So to do that, I looked for inspiration from an Olympic gold medal runner from Africa, because obviously cheetahs are African, they're fast. This Olympic runner's from Africa, she's fast. So yeah, so this Olympic gold medal runner that I got inspired by is called, I'm probably going to butcher this, Mokadi Kasta Semenya Oib. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly, but yeah, she's this Olympic gold medal runner from Africa, and she was a big inspiration behind this character design. So the general like shape of the character, their anatomy and proportions kind of stuff was kind of inspired by her. Cheetahs also tend to have this really spiky fur on their back, so I wanted to capture that in the design somehow. Now, I didn't want to give this character a really hairy back, so instead I represented this aspect of the cheetah with a really long spiky ponytail, because that's, you know, it's also in the back area, kind of has the same shape as those back spikes. So yeah, that's how I represented that. Other than that, I gave this character running clothes, some like just general sports wear, you know, to represent how fast she's always running and stuff like that. To represent the tail of the cheetah, I gave the character this waistcloth thing that droops down behind her with the kind of same patterns as the cheetah's tail. So yeah, that represents the tail. Obviously cheetahs are yellow and they've got some black spots and a bit of brown in there somewhere. So I represented those colors in the character by giving her yellow hair, and, you know, and all the other colors that cheetahs have. Cheetahs also tend to have these black marks around their eyes, so I put those on the character. And lastly, obviously, cheetahs have spots. Now, you might think it might be a bit hard to represent, you know, spotted skin on a human, but there's this thing called vitiligo, which is a skin condition where humans have different, like, skin pigmentations and stuff like that. So I thought that was a pretty cool way to represent the spotted, you know, the spots on a cheetah, you know, translated to a human. So yeah, this character's got vitiligo. That's how I represented the spots. And yeah, here's how the final design turned out. And yeah, I am really happy with design. I think she looks so cool, just such a cool character. I really like the vitiligo idea to represent the spots. I think that's really creative. And yeah, just overall a really awesome character design. Okay, moving on to the next animal. The last animal I will be turning into a human will be the meerkat. Now, there are technically a couple different types of meerkats, but they all look the same and they're all from Africa, so I'll just be turning the standard meerkat into a human. Now, meerkats obviously have a very small stature in comparison to these other animals I've been designing. So I wanted to represent that by making this character younger and also have a smaller stature compared to the other characters I've designed. Meerkats also tend to have these striped patterns on their backs, so I really wanted to represent that in the character somehow. So I ended up giving this character a big old cloak that on the back obviously has all the striped back patterns, so that's how I represented the back stripes. The cloak also kind of represents the meerkat's tail, which usually have these black lines at the end. And also, you know, meerkats tend to be kind of shy, timid creatures, so I made the cloak of this character kind of cover their face a bit to represent how shy they might be. Also, meerkats have these darker paws compared to the rest of their body, so I kind of represented this by giving the character some darker bandages and shoes to represent where the paws would be. Obviously, meerkats really like digging, you know, since they live in burrows and stuff. So kind of on the nose representation with this one, because I just gave this character shovels to represent how meerkats dig. So yeah, not that creative, but you know, obviously gets the point across. Meerkats also tend to have these white faces with these black markings around their eyes. So obviously I also gave that to the character. I gave them white hair and also these black markings around their eyes. Let's see how the final design turned out. And wow, also really happy with this design. I think it turned out very awesome. It looks really cool. I really like the cloak. And yeah, well, I think I made some pretty cool character designs based off of those animals. What do you guys think? Do you have a favorite? If you do, let me know in the comments down below. And while you're down there, maybe you could tell me what animals you would want to see turned into humans. I'm kind of curious what animals you guys would want to see in future videos of the series. You know, if I end up making it a series. Anyway, that's the end of the video. Bye!